Welcome to Season 4 of the Undetected Narcissist Podcast. Your host, Angela Meyer, is here to bring you clarity if you are stuck in confusion, self-doubt, or feel lost without a sense of direction. This podcast is extremely different because Angela comes from a place of wisdom, compassion, and has been able to forgive the unforgivable. She's a mental health professional, trauma-informed, human consciousness guide, and empowerment strategist. She knows one can't truly heal and recover when one is stuck in hate, anger, and fear. One must rise above it, find meaning, understanding, compassion for oneself and the toxic people within our lives. This season is about self-empowerment, self-realizations, and transformation. There is always a blog post supporting this information, so please visit undetectednarcissist.com. So get ready to learn about yourself, others, and find a way to truly live and thrive once again. Enjoy the show.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Undetected Narcissist. I want everyone to buckle in today because this is a hot topic: how to forgive the unforgivable. So one day, a friend was chatting, and forgiveness came up. We both agreed that forgiveness and being able to forgive the unforgivable is almost the most challenging steps in mastering one's human consciousness. We all have heard that forgiveness is not for the other person, but for you. So why should that be so hard if it's a gift you're giving to yourself? I believe it's our pride and ego. There can be a part of us that wants them to suffer and go to hell. Yet in my 20 plus years in the mental health field and all that I have learned, I know in my heart and soul that finding a way to forgive the unforgivable is essential. And in fact, 2 books stood out to me, reminding me of the why. The True Power of Water by Mr. Emoto, and The Secret Language of Our Body by Mrs. Siegel. Our thoughts and emotions have so much power and energy. If our thoughts and feelings can turn water into either toxic or healing properties, what can our thoughts and emotions do for us? I mean, after all, we are energetic beings who are having a human experience, not vice versa. Our spirit or soul is unbiased. Yet the ego is biased. The ego wants to judge and needs proof of why one should not forgive. The spirit and soul do not, because they recognize and understand from a spiritual perspective that this person who deeply wounded you is your teacher for you in this lifetime. That is why I say certain people who are no longer in my life were my greatest teachers. After all, Jesus tried to teach us this truth when he was on the cross. He had to find forgiveness because it would free his soul and the sins of others. So let me explain my perspective. I have learned that karma starts to unravel on an energetic level when we truly forgive the unforgivable, because now the karmic energy can move. And then what they did to you can now teach them a lesson. Now it sounds weird, but yeah, it can. It can teach them a lesson. So I want you to imagine a stream that flows with ease and grace. The water is clear, clean, and vibrantly alive. Then someone hurts you deeply. You get stuck in anger, resentment, bitterness, sadness, guilt, or shame. All those negative thought patterns and emotions turn into sticks, branches, stones, and boulders. Eventually, it can become a dam or a wall to keep the positive emotions or thought patterns from entering, for you will second guess yourself and others' motives, afraid to love again and live a life of true happiness, because you question, is it even possible? And over time, the water becomes stagnant, cloudy, sluggish, and stops moving. That is why we must cultivate the courage to remove the rocks and branches from our stream of life. Each rock and branch represents a memory of pain, trauma, rejection, abandonment, and shame stored within the body's chakras and energy field. Nobody can do the work for us but ourselves. We cannot call a yard cleaning service. I wish we could, but we can't. And that is why the last rule for being human says, the answers lie inside you. We all have unique stories and memories of pain, heartache, regret, errors of judgment, and a list of negative emotions trapped within us. I have forgiven the unforgivable, but many people stay stuck in pain and resentment, which festers like a disease. I had to do this process you will learn today with a long list of people, which included me. So I asked my friend, how could I help people understand and realize that they must eventually learn to forgive the unforgivable, or it will ultimately destroy them with health issues? Her response was profound. She realized that I touched on one of the deepest spiritual truths and healing frontiers of the human journey, forgiving the unforgivable, the kind that requires divine strength, not just human will. So today we will explore this sacred terrain, not to bypass the pain, but to alchemize it. And when I say alchemize, I mean to raise your vibration out of 3D and into 4D by shifting your thought patterns and emotions. On the blog post, there's a chart of what I mean. And these two charts are for free at Master the Upper Rooms of Human Consciousness. So here are the 9 insights why we all must learn to forgive the unforgivable. Number 1, begin with the truth. Some things are unforgivable to the human self. We must honor this first. Some violations are too painful, too violating, too soul-shattering to forgive through logic, politeness, or willpower. The key is you don't forgive with the mind. You forgive through the soul. Saying, quote, "This hurts beyond measure." You're not trying to spiritualize it away, is the first step towards true transmutation. Now, I need to explain this truth, which might sound like woo-woo to some people, and some people believe in past life regression, other people don't. But since I'm a hypnotherapist and trained in past life regression, I've discovered that many people will have an imprint upon their soul, which is impacting their current life. One woman was about abandonment, and for another, it was like feeling like she didn't belong in this family. Each one in their most recent past life experienced something traumatic and did not find closure. Some might consider it karma, but I think it is information that can be transmuted and transformed. When I have worked with the soul and the soul's guide to transmute and transform the information and energy that is trapped and imprinted upon a person's soul, there is always a deep spiritual reverence and joy from being set free. The soul is thankful, and so is the person in this lifetime. So if this is woo-woo stuff can create miracles in a person's life, then so be it. Who am I to judge? Number 2, forgiveness isn't condoning. It's releasing the bond. People often resist forgiveness because they think it means saying what happened was okay, giving the person a pass, letting them back in. But true forgiveness is not about them. It's about you. Remember the stream of life? You can declare, I no longer allow your actions to poison my system. I choose liberation. Forgiveness is an act of energetic sovereignty. Number 3, unforgiveness is a spiritual parasite. Resentment and hatred feed on your life force. They live in the cells. Over time, they can lead to nervous system deregulation, chronic inflammation, immune suppression, digestive issues, depression, anxiety, and spiritual stagnation. When the soul knows it's time to evolve, but the heart is still shackled in old pain, the body becomes the battleground. Forgiveness isn't weakness. It's cellular reclamation. You're claiming everything back. Back to health, back to vitality, back to wellness. So again, remember your stream of life. Eventually, the rocks and branches do create dis-ease within the physical body. 4, you don't forgive for them. You forgive for your future self. You forgive so your heart doesn't calcify. You forgive so you can receive love again. You forgive so your gifts can flow freely. Remember these wise words, quote, if I stay stuck in what was, I'll never become what I'm here to be. Pretty deep words. I need to pause here before moving on to number 5. If you have Netflix, there's a series called Black Mirror, Season 7, Eulogy. In it, we see a lonely man who used technology to revisit his past with a former girlfriend. It's a love story full of heartache and regrets. This episode dives into the complexities of grief, memory, and the impact of past choices on one's present. It also explores how technology can be used to connect with the deceased and find closure. Yet, here is my point. This man spent decades alone, stuck in sadness, anger, confusion, and bitterness. He spent maybe 30 years in a prison cage he built within his mind, heart, and soul. You will realize that all of that could have been prevented when you watch it. He could have had a beautiful life full of love, joy, happiness, and satisfaction. Instead, his angry ego would not let go of the pain. Even when he had a letter he had never read from his former girlfriend asking for forgiveness. I highly recommend everyone watching this episode. It can be incredibly eye-opening. Again, he had a choice. We all do. Number 5, the soul has a view the human cannot see. When people say, how could this happen to me? It validates. It's validated. It does. It's crazy, but it does. It validates it. But from a soul's vantage point, even the most devastating experiences can become a crucible for awakening. You don't have to believe the pain was meant to be, but you can choose to believe it won't be wasted. Therefore, forgiveness becomes the bridge between victimhood and spiritual mastery. Try to discover the lesson or lessons within your painful stories. Find out if those painful memories made you a better person. Are you sharing what you learned with your children, clients, and or the world? Our stories do not have to define us. We are here on earth to learn lessons. That's what life is all about. When I realized that those life experiences made us better people and taught us resilience, self-worth, and self-compassion, we can shift our perspective out of victimhood and into spiritual mastery by mastering our levels of human consciousness from 3D into 4D. And if you look at me, you take my example. If you read my book, I had horrible, horrible things happen to me. I mean, you can consider the people in that book monsters. They really were. But I now share this wisdom with you and anyone who listens to this podcast. I'm here to bring clarity, here to get you unstuck. Okay, so I'm using it in a way. I took myself out of victimhood and into supporting everyone for the whole of humanity. Number 6, invite the force greater than you into the process. When the pain is too big, don't carry it alone. Call in something bigger, such as your higher self, God or source, divine love, divine healing intelligence, a saint or deity, spiritual guides, angels, or even a specific angel, the earth or the universe itself. Say, I don't know how to forgive, but I'm willing. Take this from my heart and transform it into light. Even just the willingness begins the healing process. Remember, you don't need to finish the journey in one breath. This is not a race. And there can be many layers of pain. So be kind and gentle with yourself. 7, make space for the rage and grief. Many can't forgive because they haven't fully felt the impact. Forgiveness doesn't mean skipping over the anger, betrayal, or loss. Let the emotions rise. Here are some tools to help release the trapped energy from within. And trust me, I've done these myself. 1, scream. Scream into a pillow, on a hillside, or alone in a room. Screaming at the top of your lungs can be so healing and rewarding. And it can freak some people out. Okay, little humor there. 2, write. And be as harsh and cruel as possible. Get out what you have been holding on to inside. You do not have to give the letter to anyone. You can burn it up after or rip it into tiny pieces, but just get it out. Number 3, cry. Oh boy, if I cried. Many people are taught that crying is a weakness. Crying is essential because it releases emotions bottled up inside. So have a good cry. 4, rage. Some people feel great satisfaction after breaking things or punching a pillow. I once got my son an inflatable bopper and punching bag. It helped him release his rage when he came back home. Then, at the bottom of the pain, you'll find space. This space is essential because true forgiveness cannot happen when you're full of anger, betrayal, or loss. True forgiveness only occurs after the soul has grieved what it deserves, but never received. So think of it as of yourself as you're emptying your vessel first. You're getting all that trapped up energy out. And it feels great when you do. 8, create a ritual of release. Sometimes the symbolic act makes the energetic shift real to the body. Here is an example. Write their name and the pain on paper. 2, speak your truth aloud. 3, burn the paper safely and say, quote, I set myself free. You no longer get to live in me. Repeat as needed until the energy shifts. And lastly, number 9, forgiveness is a process, not a one-time event. You may forgive in layers, a piece at a time, and that's okay. There is a process. Phase 1 is to identify it, and phase 2 is how to release what no longer serves you. Each time you choose to release the hook, you reclaim more of your spirit. That is why I say forgiveness is like a snake shedding its skin. We shed the old that no longer serves us, and we welcome our new form. Be gentle. The wound will still whisper again someday, and you'll be prepared. Just respond, quote, "Yes, I remember, and I still choose peace." Do what works for you to find forgiveness, because every time you get triggered, it is a time to go within and remove the bee sting lodged within. Now the good stuff. I want to share my technique for forgiving the unforgivable. That's right, which I created for myself by combining various methods. It has worked like magic every single time. In the past, I have spoken about the power of Ho'oponopono. At first, when I learned about this technique, it confused me. It made no sense to me. How can just saying I'm sorry or please forgive me help? Plus, why would I say I love you to someone who destroyed my life? I knew deep inside that something was missing because it did not make sense to me. And if it did not make sense to me, I would have given up. Then I added a twist that made more sense. I discovered what was missing from this 4-part recipe: the why factor. The why factor is essential because it ties into our pain stories. Why do I need to say I'm sorry? And why do I need to ask for my forgiveness? It seems backward. Yet the way I do it makes sense to me. And I hope it will make sense to you. So let me give you an example of what I mean. Here's the 4-part recipe. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. I love you. Thank you. This forced me to dive deep into my soul to discover the why factor. Since we create narcissistic people, we need to learn how they are made. And I have explained how in previous blog posts and podcast episodes. The narcissists or toxic people in our lives were once children. In my mind, all children are innocent. Yes, narcissism can be passed down from generation to generation, but that explains the generational trauma being passed down. Generational trauma can be stored in our DNA for up to 7 generations. And it's not the child's fault that this generational trauma is being passed down. Therefore, I can have compassion and mercy. That is why I have used pictures of some of my family members when they were children to support me in the forgiveness process. On the blog post, there's a picture of my father. And he is so darn cute. And I think of what his life could have been if he was treated differently. Because if I looked at a picture of him as an adult right now, it would be so hard for me to forgive. But this picture of him as the cute, smiling boy in his howdy doody outfit is so darn cute. So here's how I did it, because the why is the missing ingredients. And I do not do any of this with the person before me or over the phone. Make that crystal clear. I either use a picture of them as a child or a picture of us when we were genuinely happy together and smiling. And if you don't have a picture, I imagine them before me in my mind. So here's a sample of what I would say coming from my heart and not my wounded ego towards my father. I am sorry that I did not turn out to be the daughter you imagined I would be. Please forgive me for not meeting your expectations. I am sorry that my defiant nature made you love me less. I wanted unconditional love, but I realized that was impossible. So please forgive me for disappointing you. I chose to choose me first, instead of trying to please someone who could never be fully satisfied with my attempts. I am sorry. Your parents made you think and believe that you were a mistake for being born male. I know they wanted a girl, and you were born a boy, but that still hurts you deeply, and I am sorry for that truth. Please forgive me for not understanding how this truth deeply wounded you growing up. I am sorry that strong and empowered women became a threat to you. I refuse to dim my light to appease you. So please forgive me if my authentic self made you feel threatened. I am sorry you felt the need to control me. It only pushed me away and made me realize the importance of having healthy boundaries with you. So please forgive me for making you mad when I enforced my boundaries and stood my ground. I love you because you have been my greatest teacher in learning the importance of unconditional love. I thought all parents should give and show their children unconditional love, but you were never given unconditional love or taught it. Realizing this fact made it easier for me to forgive you. I love you because you are a child of God. We all are. I realize if I hold on to hatred towards you, then it will negatively impact my life in various areas. So forgiveness is essential for the evolution of my soul, not yours. I love you because I have something you have desperately wanted your entire life and will never have as long as you are stuck in anger and resentment towards me. You pray twice daily, and God does not speak to you like He talks to me. Therefore, your devoted faith in God made me realize it's not about religion, but a relationship. So I love you and thank you for helping me understand that my relationship with our Creator was more critical than your religious views about me. I love you because I am doing amazing things for humanity. I am changing the world, one person at a time. So thank you for bringing me into this world to serve. I love you because you taught me not to parent the way you parented me. I have a beautiful relationship with my children, and without your harsh parenting style, I might have parented the way you did by accident. So thank you for making me an awesome parent. After I say what I needed to be said and feel complete, I move on to the next step. This is when I take all the painful memories I can recall in that moment and bless and forgive them all. I forgive myself for holding on to these painful memories for so many years. I visualize placing all the memories into a pink sack. Then I forgive and bless all the energy around and within the pink sack. Next, I need to forgive myself using the same method. Here are some of the things I would have said to myself. I am sorry that your childhood was so painful. You did not deserve to be treated with such contempt, abuse, and heartache. Please forgive me for not protecting you and seeking help sooner. I am sorry that we expected to be loved unconditionally by our parents. As an adult, I realize our parents never received unconditional love in their entire lives. And this is the sad truth. Every child deserves to be loved unconditionally. The problem is that when it is not given or modeled to them, they will parent the same way they were parented. This understanding gave me compassion towards them and allowed me to forgive. So please forgive me for having unrealistic expectations. I am sorry we felt not good enough, unworthy, and broken inside. We did the very best we could with the tools and information available. All those thoughts and beliefs we had about ourselves were false. Everyone is good enough, worthy, and can become whole again. I know this is possible. So please forgive me for having these limiting beliefs about us or anyone. I love you because you are precious, unique, resilient, brave, and inspiring part of me. Life has been our most excellent teacher. Our parents were part of that foundation. Thank you for helping me believe in myself and refuse to accept defeat or to allow another person to dim our light. I love you for standing your ground, refusing to settle for less, and educating yourself on various topics that help us heal. I know it was not easy, and you felt like the black sheep in the family, and that's okay. In fact, that was perfect. It taught us to believe in ourselves and not allow our Father to manipulate, guilt trip, or blame shift us into submission. I had no idea that he was a vulnerable narcissist, so thank you for teaching me to stand my ground and set healthy boundaries. Thank you for teaching me to use my words to heal and empower myself instead of destroying our Father with words of hatred and anger. I love you because we are doing amazing things in mental health and helping many people worldwide. We took the high road instead of the low road. So thank you for being such a kind, compassionate, genuine, and nurturing soul. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Now I forgive all the energy around myself that was stuck in anger, disappointment, resentment, sadness, and heartache, and I place it all into the pink sack. I see and feel myself pulling out of me all the trapped negative emotions and thought patterns about the subject of my Father. When I feel complete, I tie a ribbon around the sack to symbolize I am done. This is when I have a chat with our Creator, and it would go something like this. God, in divine love, I have been holding on to these painful memories and emotions for too long. I must release them and hand them to you for purification and renewal. I know this healing is for me, and maybe, just maybe, it might release something in the other person as well. Please take this pink sack and set my soul free. Thank you for giving me this opportunity to heal myself. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Then I imagine the pink sack floating up, hands coming down from the heavens above and taking it. In my heart, I feel gratitude and appreciation. Signs of proof you have forgiven the unforgivable. One of the best ways we get proof that the forgiveness work is complete is by examining how we view and feel about the person we forgave. I learned that when I think about a specific person again, there is no longer an emotional charge. I view them as just a person, period. They are not above me or below me. My wounded pain story no longer has any purpose or meaning. It was just an experience and a memory from the past. I will no longer feel the need to share my story with others or even recall it. All the painful energy has been drained from those memories of the past. It is not like I am numb, but neutral. It feels like all the puppet strings have been cut and the wounds no longer need a band-aid because it is healed. They mean nothing to me when I see them face to face or online. The anger and resentful feelings I had towards them have vanished. All the power and control they had over me is gone. Therefore, I finally evicted them from my heart, mind, and soul. It is incredibly liberating and freeing. They mean nothing and are nothing because now they are just a person. No longer the monster that destroyed your life and did their best to cripple you forever. They lost the battle and you won in the end. For example, you view the person as no longer being vulnerable, manipulating mom, narcissistic, walking on eggshells dad, manipulating brother, two-faced gossip sister, Satan, your boss, your crazy ex, psycho ex BFF, evil coworker. All those precious labels we stuck on those unforgivable humans vanish. I know, so sorry. Now, they're just dad, mom, ex, or an old boss. I mean, it can seem like some of the fun gets sucked out of it too, because now we no longer feel the need to even make fun of them and their crazy behaviors. I know, that's the sad part. And I shouldn't be laughing, but I am. It feels so great. But either way, I feel blessed that these people no longer have any power or control over me. All the tears have dried up, painful memories neutralized, and I can see them for who they truly are. My teachers in this lifetime have allowed me to dive deep into profound forgiveness for myself and my life moving forward. I'm no longer stuck in the past or clinging to what could have been or should have been or even wanting justice. There is just pure freedom and self-empowerment. Final truth to share with others. Forgiveness is not a gift you give to the person who hurt you. It's a gift you give to the soul you're becoming. If you don't forgive, the pain will become your identity. If you do forgive, the pain becomes your wisdom, just like mine. So I must share a metaphor teaching story with everyone before we end. Stories are how the soul remembers truth. Here's a teaching story that carries the frequency of deep release and inner sovereignty. There are moments in life when the pain cuts so deep and it seems impossible to forgive. Betrayal, abuse, abandonment. These aren't light wounds. They're soul-level impacts, and many stay shackled to them for years, even decades, believing that forgiveness would somehow mean what happened was okay. But what if forgiveness isn't about them at all? Here's a teaching story. The Woman and the Snake. A woman once lived in a quiet village nestled by a great mountain. One spring, she was bitten by a venomous snake while walking through the woods. It struck her ankle, left its poison, and slithered away. The villagers helped her as best they could, but the venom remained in her body. It didn't kill her, but it changed her. Her leg stiffened. Her breath grew shallow. Over time, her heart became heavy, and her dreams dimmed. Every day, she cursed the snake. She spoke of it to anyone who'd listen. In fact, she relived the moment it bit her again and again. She even walked the forest path daily, scanning the underbrush, watching, waiting, just in case it returned. Years passed. She aged early. Her laughter faded. Her body ached in ways no healer could mend. One day an old traveler came to the village. Seeing her pain, he asked her gently, "Why do you suffer so?" She told him of the snake, of the venom, of the injustice, of how the snake never apologized and never came back to right the wrong. The traveler listened with deep compassion. Then he said, quote, "The snake only bit you once, but you've been letting it bite you every day since." She froze. "Forgiveness," he said, "is how you pull the fang out. Not for the snake's sake, but so the poison doesn't own you anymore." The woman wept, not because of the snake, but because she realized she had been carrying the wound longer than she needed. That night, she lit a fire beneath the mountain. She took off the bandage, and she had worn that bandage for years. And for the first time, she did not look for the snake. She looked for her soul. And she walked, limped, but lighter. The moral of the story is, the unforgivable act may never be made right, but your soul doesn't need their apology to be free. You forgive because you decide when the right time is for you to stop drinking the poison. You forgive to walk the mountain again without being prepared or waiting and expecting danger around every corner. Here's a reflection on pulling out the fang. The snake in this story isn't just a reptile. It's the person who hurt you, the betrayal that broke you, the system that failed you, and the venom. That's what we carry long after the moment has passed. Resentment, grief, fear, bitterness. The woman was bitten once, but she kept the poison alive by revisiting it daily. That's what unforgiveness does. The body carries the unforgiveness. The body keeps score, and the soul keeps the echo. Unforgiveness becomes chronic tension, anxiety, exhaustion, and even illness. We think we're staying safe by holding on to the story, but in truth, we're staying stuck. Therefore, forgiveness is not to erase it. Forgiveness is an energetic detox. This information is a call to awaken you. If you still carry venom that doesn't belong to you, you have the right to lay it down. You don't need the apology. You don't need them to change. You need yourself to be whole, sovereign, and free. You forgive not to absolve the snake, but to walk again beneath the mountain of your own becoming. Because we always have a choice which path to walk. The path of misery or strength and wisdom. So here are my closing thoughts about how to forgive the unforgivable. So ask yourself these questions. Who is your snake? What poison are you still carrying? Are you willing to attempt to forgive the unforgivable? If the answer is yes, then just for today, be willing to pull out the fang. That willingness alone begins the healing. Therefore, in this blog post about how to forgive the unforgivable, and on this podcast, I'm giving a free meditation process to support releasing the fang. Of course, the theme is forgiveness, emotional detox, and energetic sovereignty. The tone is gentle, compassionate, and soul deep. So be gentle, kind, patient with yourself. It's not a race. It is a slow and steady process of peeling away the layers that are blocking you from your true potential and happiness. In love and light, Angela Meyer / Carrie Logan. Have a great day.